Welcome to RPV City Talk, featuring our very own RPV City Council members discussing current events and issues of interest to our community.
Hello everyone and welcome to RPV City Talk. Today we will be talking with newly appointed City Council member Ken Dyda. Of course, we all know Ken is far from new to the city. In fact, we are proud to say he's one of the city's founders. Sat on the very first City Council and was our city's first Mayor Pro Tem. He's joining me here in studio. We are very lucky to have you, Ken. Of course, you agreed to serve back on the council to fill in the seat vacated, sadly, by Councilmember Peter Gardner, who passed away during the summer. But we're so lucky to have you now filling the seat. And why did you decide to do this?
Well, thank you, Liz. And yeah, I was honored that the council voted me to succeed Peter Gardner and fill out his extra term. I applied because I thought I could bring some historical perspective in some of the events that are going to be happening. And at the same time, I'm a firm believer in a mix of talents on the City Council because each discipline brings a different kind of thinking to it, which just actually lends to a better solution because you get all the aspects that are available to the community. So that's why I came on, and for the 3 months, it's going to be my pleasure to do the hard work necessary.
I say, did you ever think you'd hear Council Member Ken Dyda again?
No, I did not. I've been asked repeatedly to run again, and I've decided I've done my thing. But in this instance, for the short term, I thought I could be of some help to the city.
Of course, we all know you here, but for our viewers watching, the residents that don't really know a lot about your background, I would love for you to share a little bit, just your personal background and your years of public service. And I know you were most recently president of Peninsula Senior, so people know you most recently from that. But you really are committed to serving the community.
Well, I started when I first moved to the city back in 1961, and I formed the first homeowners association in our area. I attempted to get that and the Silver Spur people involved in annexing to Rolling Hills Estates at the time, and that was in '62. That didn't go anywhere. Shortly thereafter, there was an initiative to take all the unincorporated area into a landscaping district. It was purported to have zoning control, which it didn't. And therefore, I took an active role and got 4 other people to join me to oppose it. The interesting thing about it, we were not allowed to speak at the forums unless we were a candidate. So all 5 of us became candidates so we could speak. And we took the time to let the people know what the reality was of a park and recreation district, landscaping district. And the interesting thing about it was that the district was defeated by a 3-2 margin, but we were elected on the basis that we would do nothing for 2 years, so it would fail anyway, by a 5-1 margin. So that was funny. I was elected to a non-existing entity. Then I became president of the Peninsula Homeowners Association, which is an aggregate of all the homes associations. Then time came for SOC to be born.
Save Our Coastline.
It was Save Our Coastline. There were negotiations going on with the county and the developers for quite some time, and the people, we were all negotiating, and we felt that we were making some progress, and lo and behold, the developers did an end run and put a BVAS report before the Board of Supervisors, which really negated everything we were working for, and that was the genesis of Save Our Coastline. We were incorporated in April of 1970 as a nonprofit, and I was fortunate to be with some of the policy makers on the policy committee, and then I was chairman of a lot of other committees to get SOC going. When we lost the petition phase, we went to court on the one man, one vote. But as a backup position, I worked with Senator Beverly at the time, and we modified the incorporation law. The incorporation law at that time was you voted based on the value of your land. The developers essentially owned about 38% of the total value of the land in the unincorporated area, which meant to defeat the proposal, they needed 12% plus 1. Well, while we were going to court, I worked with Senator Beverly, and we modified the law as a correction for the legislative intent. So we didn't go through the whole process of a bill. And we added only 2 words where it said voting shall be based on the value of land. We added 2 words, and improvements.
Mm-hmm.
What that did, when you looked at the balance of value between the residents and the developers went from 38% down to 11%. Fortunately, we didn't have to go over that because we won in the Supreme Court. Ended up having an election in '73, August 28th, and we were incorporated in September of '73.
That must have been one of the most incredible things you've ever done in your life, would you say? I mean, you helped found this city, and that is just unbelievable to be able to say you are a founder.
Yeah, you don't think of it at the time. You're involved in getting something you believe in accomplished. There's a goal, and you work towards that goal. But in retrospect, as I look back on it, I feel extremely fortunate because how many people have that rare experience?
Right.
Very, very few.
And the gift now, you have that experience from then, you can apply it to now. And I want to talk about sort of the vision then, and the vision you see happening now later on in the show, and I really want to talk to you about what you see right now as being really pressing for this city, issues that need to be resolved, that you see.
The city has a number of issues. Obviously, one of the issues is the Monks case and what we do with the moratorium area. That's a term that has been found not to be really representative of what we're trying to do. There's a property in a zone in Portuguese Bend that there's a moratorium on building. The Monks case basically went to court and said that we cannot establish with certainty that a 1.5 safety factor is appropriate because we can't determine what the baseline is precisely. And that's factual. We can't. I don't know that anything that you design you can define factually as what is precisely the value. So there's always a safety factor. And the court ruling said basically we must proceed and allow them to go through the processes that we would let anybody else to go ahead and develop their properties.
So that means the 16 properties in the Portuguese Bend area now, they would have a right to go forward, come to the city to try to build.
Yes, there are 47 properties in Zone 2, and the court basically dealt with the 16 as an entity. The court did not deal with them as individual properties.
Okay.
And therefore, the city right now has had a first reading on an ordinance to go forward with approving a mitigated negative declaration, okay? And that's part of the California Environmental Quality Act. What it basically says is that you go through all the potential environmental problems, and you find that the environmental problems are either insignificant or there are readily available measures to mitigate them. They aren't extraordinary. And so you do a mitigated negative declaration rather than an entire environmental impact report. And that's where we're at right now.
Right. So if you could crystal ball this in the future, will you see homes going up then in Portuguese Bend on these lots? Are you thinking that's the direction it's going?
I see the fact that the court ruling says that they have the right to be there. Whether they will go up, it's again, the property owner has to decide what they're going to do and whether they're going to build. We don't have that decision.